Hi guys, it's me Saqib Hashmi. Welcome to your fourth PHP tutorial of B Champions Education. In this tutorial, I will teach you how to create variables. And what are variables? Variables are containers which contains information. So I'll explain you. We'll open the root directory where we save our web pages, which is htdocs. Here what we'll do, we create a folder. I will name this second PHP, and in this second PHP folder I'll create index.php, and we can edit this using our notepad++. Okay, so we will open PHP tag, close PHP tag. Okay, to create a variable which contains a string of text, so we can do like this. So we create variable using the $sign in PHP and followed by any name you want to give to this. So I will call this txt text, then equal. Then you can either put single quotes or double quotes, whichever you prefer. I'll use double quotes, and you can write whatever text you want to write here. So I'll write B champions and then double quote again and semicolon to end the statement. So this $txt variable contains this string B champions. Okay, and we can also create variables which has a value of number, integer. So we can do the same thing, $sign and name of the variable. We can call this anything we like. I'll call this num number equal, and I'll just put a number there and semicolon. As you can see, for the integer value of 3 or any integer, I haven't used the double quote or single quote. So you only use a single or double quote for when you're writing a string, but when you're writing a number, you don't put the quotation marks. Okay, we can also create a decimal number. So again, we can do $sign, and I will call this num2 equal 2.5, which is a decimal number, and use the semicolon to end the statement. So this is how you create variables, and to output the result on the screen, we can echo it. So echo, and then the name of the variable we want to echo, which is txt text. Okay, we can save this now, and we can go to our browser, and as soon as we refresh, as you can see, it says B champions. The string which we written is showing here. And if we want to display num1, not just num or num2, we can also do like that. So $sign num, and save this. Now refresh the page. As you can see, it says 3 here, and we can test num2, the decimal number. We can print it using echo. Save this, refresh, 2.5. So as you can see, this is how you can use the variables, but there are other ways as well. You can add a string with the variable as well. I'll show you how to do that. So you can use a single quote, and in between you can write the text. Then you can add full stop to combine the string with the variable. So if we save this, you can see this is number 2 and colon, this is the string, and 2.5 is our variable. So this is how we can combine a string with the variable. Also, you can calculate the variables. So if we want to show the sum of num and num2 and display it on the screen, what we can do, we can just do like this, num and plus sign, then num2 and semicolon to end the statement. Save this, and as you can see, and result can equal num plus 2 here like this. So we can just echo result rather than the whole statement. So if we refresh this, and I forgot to, you need to, okay, so semicolon, save, and now refresh. As you can see, it's 5.5. so here we can add string with the variable that 3 plus 2.5 is space, refresh this, is 5.5, like that. This is how you can add variables. PHP is a loosely typed language, which means that we don't have to declare the variable. It automatically declares for us. PHP automatically converts variable data type as soon as it knows which value we put in. So depending on its value, it uses the correct data type. This is unlike other languages like C, C++, Java, where programmers must declare the data type of a variable before using the variable. So that's the difference. PHP automatically converts variable into correct data type. Now we will look at PHP Variables Scope, the scope of the variables. So what is the scope? Scope is where we used the PHP variable. So where we are using the PHP variable is the scope. PHP has different variable scope: local, global, static. And I'll explain you while I demonstrate you on notepad++, so you can see what's happening as well. So let's write a global scope. So I'll just delete this because this is just the purpose for the tutorial. I'll delete this. Okay, we'll create a variable and we call this x, $x equal to semicolon, and now what I'll do, I'll create a function. Don't worry if you don't know what function is. Later on I'll explain you what it is, but for now I'll give you some basic understanding of function. So function is a method that perform action. So as you can see that we declare the variable outside this function myTest. Because we declare it outside, it's called global scope. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm just writing a comment. And I'll explain you how to write comments later. But just see what we are doing. Just concentrate on the variable and its scope and where it's positioned, where it's used. So if we save this and refresh this page, okay, we are getting an error. It's on the line 5. Okay, I forgot to write function correctly. Now I think it should work. Save this. Undefined variable x. Yes, so as you can see, because we are printing x within this function, it won't work because we have declared it outside the function. But if we are to print this or echo it outside this function, this variable, then it will work. So I'll just show you. If we can echo x variable, save this, and just I will use the string so you can see what's happening. Okay, as you can see that variable x is and it's not working inside the function, but we are printing outside and we have written this string, this is outside, and we are calling the variable from here. it says 2. So it's displaying the value of the variable x, which is 2. This is because that we can access global variable from outside, but not within function. So this is the first type of the scope, global, and there are three different types of variable scopes: local, global, and static, like I told you before. Now I will show you the local one. So if we declare a variable inside this function, let's call this variable y, and let's say equal to 4. Okay, and if we change this to y instead of displaying x, save this, you can see it's working. Variable x, oh sorry, I need to remove this. Variable y, variable y is 4. Yeah, if we remove this just to show you. So because we declare this variable inside the function, it's called local scope. Okay, and it's working inside the function, displaying 4 for y variable. But if we try to display this outside this function, and I will show you, if we just take this and put it here, refresh, it's saying undefined variable y. Okay, so the value is not showing because we are trying to access the local scope from outside the function, which won't work. Only we can access local variable, local scope variable inside the function myTest. Okay, so you understand what local scope is. We can only access the local scope variable within the function, not from outside, like that. Okay, now let's look at static. Okay, why do we use static? Because when we use static, the value does not get deleted when the function get executed. Normally what happen is, let me explain you. Normally when we run this function myTest, for example, for now, so we are calling this we are echoing this variable within the function myTest, which is local, so it's displaying correctly. Yeah? Normally what happen is that when you run the function, the value that we declare of a variable inside the function and whatever it displays, it get deleted. The variable get deleted, the value get deleted. But when we use static, even though we call that function again, we run that function again, still it will remember the last value that we had before. So I'll just demonstrate you what I mean. So let's put static keyword before we write our variable. Okay, before we assign a value to our variable, and I'll just change this to static. scope. Okay, let's say if we increment this, increment means that we are adding one each time. So if we increment, okay, as you can see it's 4, but if we run the method twice, so if we call the method or function, if you want to say function, if you want to run the function twice, as you can see, the next time we call the function or we run the function, it adds 1 to the value, so it remembers that it was 4 before. But if we remove the static keyword from here, and if I refresh this, as you can see, it won't remember the last value, so it will just know which value is it from whenever we call it. So that's why we use static keyword. There are other ways to access global variable within the function. I'll show you how to do that. It is extra step that you have to take to access global variable. So if we are to create a global variable, let's say x equal to 5. Okay, so within function you need to type the global keyword, and then you can type the variable, which variable it is, like x. Okay, and now we can test this out. The variable, we replace this to x, we don't need this. I'm just calling it once. Save this, refresh. So as you can see, we can access even the global variable within the function, but we have to use the global keyword before we type our variable. Without this it won't work. So if I take the global keyword out, you won't be able to access the global variable within the function. So I'll just show you, refresh this, you can see undefined variable. Okay, you can either do like this, you can write the global keyword. PHP automatically adds any global variables in an array, so you can access, and the index of that array is the name of the variable which you give. So for example, x will be the index. I'll explain you later on what arrays are and how you can use arrays, but I'm just showing you how to use global variable. Okay, so this is another way of declaring global variable inside the function. So basically we created a variable outside the function called x, and x equal to 6. Now within the function my test, we have written $globals open square bracket quotation mark x quotation mark close square bracket. So this is how we can call this global variable within the function, and we are testing it with the echo statement to display on the screen on the browser. This is a second way of using the global variable inside the function. The first one I've showed you using the global keyword. Thank you guys for watching the tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you enjoyed watching my tutorial, please click the like button. Thank you very much.